Hello, YouTuber Woobers. It's the 3rd of December, about 9:30 at night. Um, so my daughter, my older daughter, you saw her in the pumpkin carving video for Halloween. She she's been smoking cigarettes since she was like 14. She picked it up from a roommate, my ex-wife, and way back when, or she picked it up from smoking with other kids, probably more so from smoking with other kids in school. Um, and that would have been junior high or middle school. But so she's been smoking all her life, and she's tried quitting and the patches, and the last thing she was doing was the electronic cigarette, which unfortunately is based. They based the nicotine in an oil base to mist, which coats the inside of your lungs. So once she figured that out, she kind of stopped that idea. Um, but I don't know what she smoked, but I know that when we go for a drive, she's, oh, Dad, can I just hang out the window and smoke? I'm going, yeah, that's not going to work. Who's the one in the family that's on oxygen? No, no, you're not hanging out the window and smoking cigarettes. So anyway, she wanted to check out the a hypnosis class for smoking. I said, well, why don't you just so every so often they'll come to the city in Pittsfield and do a group session. I go, why don't you just wait for that? And she goes, oh, people say it doesn't really work. So she got a bee in her bonnet to go to Albany, which is it's about an hour plus, maybe an hour and a half drive from here. Particularly since the bridge is out down the road, so we have to go that way, down, around. It takes a little bit more time to get off the mountain. So she wanted to go check that place out. So we did a day of it. Um, went there, and well, she kind of thought I would get into it too. I didn't really, you know me. I do all kinds of stuff. So, but I wasn't going to explain. I went there to support her. So she filled out the form and the questionnaire and sat down with the lady and blah 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 blah. It's all well and good. It seems like they have a lot of successes. Unfortunately, left me in the waiting room watching a DVD of these people that have had a success rate, and it was on repeat. So I had to watch that about 8 times. I was kind of going out of my mind. And she left her bag sitting next to me, so I wasn't like I could go for a walk. But at any rate, so when she got out of it, they were they were charging $600, and they say usually people will stop smoking on the first session, but it has unlimited visits. So basically, they charge up front for repeat visits, which is a lot of money. $600 is a lot of money for someone to pay out. I mean, granted, if they're smoking $10, $12 a pack, unless they get the real cheap ones, which are still with taxes in most places, it's up there. Um, so at any rate, it was she was excited about it until she heard the price, and we after that, the other thing she wanted, her birthday's coming up on the 9th of December. She wanted to go to the Cheesecake Factory. She says she's always wanted to go there. That was what she wanted to do for her birthday. So we're already in Albany. Why don't we just go there? So we, you know, drove around. I mean, Albany on Saturday, Christmas shopping. That mall was packed, and got into the parking lot, and it was like, well, why don't you just call ahead and see if we can make a reservation? So when we get there, it's sitting in the parking lot forever. We'll be get seated. And she calls, and the lady that answered the phone there, she was just plain rude. It was just like, are people just so busy, so lucrative in their businesses that they can just turn away business? It's a boggling mind to me of why people do that. But she was so rude and wouldn't give her a definite answer about, doing some kind of reservation or call ahead or some freaky thing. And then she just said, well, I don't even feel like going there now, you know. So we left the extremely congested parking lot from this huge mall, and the driver said, well, let's just find some place to go to lunch. So we're down a road that had a lot of different places, Marconi's and different places. We ended up at the Outback, which is, it's always been a nice meal. It's a little pricey, for what it is, but it is what it is. And we got seated, and the table was dirty. And it's just funny because it's just all these little quirky things. You think that it's just one little thing after another. She ordered ribeye, and I just ordered fettuccine. I was gonna eat some of her ribeye if she didn't eat it all, but then she ordered it like bloody rare, which is like uncooked food is not meat is not my thing. But it was just you know it was a quirky meal, let me tell you. The bloomin' onion, which is didn't really taste all that great. The onion was really oniony. It's usually a sweet onion that they use, and it just you know it was very very oniony taste, which I ended up masking with Thousand Island dressing because that could pretty much hide everything. And so they had cheesecake, on their dessert menu. So we ordered a cheesecake go between the two of us, and she got a cup of coffee, and she's pulling out the sugar out of the sugar bowl, and half of the sugar envelopes, the sweet and lows and whatever, are already been opened and used, and that someone just put them back into the sugar bowl. We say we were the secret shopper there to analyze, how well they do. Um, we'd be like writing a book. The table next to us was also dirty, and it's just these little things. It's the little things that when you go to a restaurant, you kind of expect it to be, you know, you'd like to think that people really care. There was a menu item on there that was, they call it chop steak with pepper and onions and mushrooms all mixed together, served with, I don't know, maybe a gravy or something. And I'm kind of trying to figure out exactly what it is. Is it like steak tips or, steak tips? It would have been nice. But basically, it's hamburger. My daughter goes, well, it's from steak. And so, well, all hamburger comes from steak. It's just ground up. But so I said basically, it's it's all it is. It's hamburger mixed with a bunch of stuff served on a plate. It was just kind of like it was just interesting. I don't go out a lot. I mean, I'm very limited on where I go out. And I'm thrifty about things because I spend money on things I really need, and I don't spend money on stuff I don't need. Wendy's is really where I prefer to go because their meat actually tastes like meat, and you know. But it was just kind of a quirky little drive, an hour and a half out, and an hour and a half back, and so we have the cheesecake, and she goes, well, this kind of tastes like cream cheese. I'm going, well, that's what cheesecake is. It's cream cheese, and eggs and other things, and they bake it. well, this doesn't taste like the one I get at the supermarket. This is, well, the supermarket one is awful. I just never really told you because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. She says, well, I guess I just like the awful one. It's like, well, I suppose, but a good cheesecake is a good cheesecake. So, well, I guess I had to finish the cheesecake all myself instead of splitting it with her. I had to do it. I just could not just leave it there. Somebody worked hard to make it. I had to eat. Very content with that. We had a good time. We had a lot of laughs. You know, and we drove home. Back on the highway because it's highway. It's on Route 90. Most of the trip there, most of the trip back. Um, in Massachusetts, they recently, a month ago, yeah, about a month ago, they took down all the toll booths on the Mass Turnpike. It's been there for probably since the 50s or 60s. And then, so everything is electronic now. If you don't have a transponder, they're going to send you a bill and probably a surcharge. It's kind of a weird thing to go on there and not have toll booths. And it's just weird. But anyway, we had a joyful ride, and yeah, just two of us. I mean, my younger daughter, who I told you moved to Chicago, she got on. We were talking, on the speakerphone. But it's sometimes it's nice to get out to the other side of the world, and then be grateful when I'm back home in the Berkshires. So, ta-ta.